The twin suns of Zirath 7 beat down mercilessly on the copper-colored dunes, turning the desert into a shimmering hellscape. Rhea Talvin lay half-buried in sand, her broken transport smoking a few meters away, its hull cracked open like an eggshell. The salvage crew that hired her had taken everything worth taking, including her water rations, before leaving her for dead. "Should have known better," she muttered, spitting sand from her cracked lips. The galaxy had no shortage of people willing to backstab a lone human mechanic. She pulled herself upright, shielding her eyes against the glare. Her toolkit was still strapped to her hip. They hadn't bothered with that, at least. Small mercies. Rhea knew she had maybe 6 hours before dehydration claimed her. Less if she panicked, then she heard it. A sound that didn't belong in the desert's oppressive silence. A high-pitched keening, almost like a child's cry. Rhea's survival instincts screamed at her to conserve energy, to find shelter. But her curiosity, that peculiarly human trait that had carried her species to the stars, pulled her toward the sound. She stumbled over a dune and stopped dead. 3 creatures lay in a hollow, each no larger than a house cat. They were unmistakably draconic, scaled bodies of iridescent blue and silver, delicate wings folded against their sides, and small crystalline horns protruding from their skulls. Dragonkin. She'd heard rumors that some alien royalty kept them, but she'd never seen one up close. They were dying. Their scales had lost their luster, and their breathing came in shallow gasps. One of them lifted its head weakly, fixing her with eyes that held far too much intelligence for something so small. It made that keening sound again, and Rhea felt her heart clench. "Damn it," she breathed. She knelt beside them, her mechanic's mind already assessing the situation. The creatures were overheated, dehydrated, and exposed. Someone had abandoned them here just like her. But while she could maybe survive a few hours, these delicate beings wouldn't last another 30 minutes. Rhea pulled off her jacket and draped it over the 3 dragonkin, creating shade. She knew what came next would hurt, but humans had a talent for doing what needed to be done. She pulled out her multi-tool and pierced the cooling system of her broken transport, draining the synthetic coolant into her canteen. It wasn't water, but the dragonkin weren't human either. "Easy now," she murmured, lifting the first creature. Its scales were hot to the touch. She dribbled coolant onto its tongue, and after a moment it swallowed reflexively. One by one she tended to them, giving them moisture and shelter from the killing heat. As the suns began their descent, the dragonkin showed signs of recovery. The largest one, the one with the most intricate horn patterns, nuzzled against her hand. Rhea smiled grimly. She'd saved them, but she'd used her only source of liquid. The coolant was toxic to humans. "At least you'll make it," she told them. That's when the sky split open. A massive ship descended, its hull bearing markings Rhea recognized as Velkari royal insignia. Her heart hammered. She'd either be rescued or executed for interfering with whatever political game had left these creatures here. The boarding ramp lowered, and a figure emerged that made Rhea's breath catch. Prince Karith was over 7 feet tall, his scaled skin a deeper blue than his offspring's, his horns sweeping back majestically from his crowned head. His eyes, ancient and terrible, fixed on her. "You," his voice resonated like distant thunder. "You touched my heirs." Rhea stood shakily, putting herself between the prince and the dragonkin. They were dying. I did what anyone would do. Anyone? Karith descended the ramp, his massive form casting a shadow over her. My own bloodkin left them here as a message to me. A political coup. They expected me to find nothing but corpses. He knelt beside his offspring, who chirped and climbed over each other to reach him. His expression softened for just a moment before hardening again. Yet a human, a species we consider barely civilized, saved them while condemning herself. He looked at her canteen, understanding dawning. "The coolant. You can't drink it." "No," Rhea admitted, "but they could." For a long moment, Prince Karith studied her with those ancient eyes. Then something unexpected happened. He laughed. It was a sound like avalanches and waterfalls, powerful and unrestrained. "This is why the Council fears your kind," he said, shaking his horned head. "Not your weapons or your technology, but this insane compassion that defies all logic." He gestured to his guards. "Bring her aboard. Full medical treatment, and prepare the royal guest quarters." "Your Highness, I'm just a mechanic." "You are the savior of my line," Karith interrupted. "You are now under the protection of House Karith. with all rights and privileges therein. He lifted one of the dragonkin, who chirped contentedly. My heirs have bonded with you. In our culture, that makes you family. Rhea felt tears prick her eyes from relief, from dehydration, from the sheer absurdity of it all. I just did what was right. Exactly, the prince said softly. That is what makes humans so terrifying and so valuable. He extended a clawed hand to help her stand. Come, Rhea Talvin. You have enemies to meet. Those who abandoned my heirs and you both. They will learn that mercy, even in the desert, has consequences. As Rhea boarded the royal ship, the dragonkin chirping and climbing over her shoulders, she couldn't help but smile. She'd been left for dead in a desert with nothing but her tools and her humanity. Turned out, that was more than enough. The salvage crew who'd betrayed her would learn soon enough. You don't mess with a human mechanic who's just become alien royalty.